Right.
Hey, Belen.
Hi, Shireen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And hi, Meg. Nice to see you.
So we started the recording of the meeting. This meeting will be posted and shared. So welcome everyone. Belen, can you see my screen, Shireen?
Yes.
Good. My name is Belen Seara. She, her pronouns. I'm the Equity and Belonging Manager. This is the meeting for the pre-proposal of the San Mateo County Shared Prosperity Coordinating Council request for proposal. So thank you for being here today. So as I mentioned, this presentation will be recorded. We hope that you can be on mute until we have questions and answers at the end of the presentation. And if you have any questions based on the information, please put those in the chat box and we will go back to them in the Q&A session. And the link to the recording and the answers to the questions will be emailed out. So for today, we will go over the background on the Shared Prosperity Coordinating Council. We will share an overview of the request for proposals, the scope of work, the submission requirements, the evaluation criteria, and we will have time at the end for questions and answers. So as I mentioned, I'll be presenting today on the scope of work. I'm the project manager for this request for proposals. So all communications regarding the proposal should be directed to me. And then Shireen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Shireen Malik Ghavzali, she, her pronouns. I'm the Chief Equity Officer with the County Executive's Office. I work with Belen at the Office of Racial and Social Justice and have been the facilitating the Shared Prosperity Coordinating Council. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. So Shireen, do you want to go and share this information on the background of the Shared Prosperity Coordinating Council?
Yes, we have been, this is a group that began this intention of focusing on shared prosperity in the spring of 2023. There's about 15 or so diverse institutions engaged on the idea that this county, and by county, I don't mean the county of San Mateo, but the San Mateo County as a whole, not the jurisdiction or institution of the county. But how could we support increasing upward mobility from poverty, given all that we have been through, especially with the pandemic? We've decided to focus in on a framework to help us think through this, which is been developed by the Urban Institute. We'll share a little bit more about that in just a minute. This Shared Prosperity Coordinating Council builds on the COVID-19 Recovery Coordinating Council and its efforts. Next slide. That's a group that started to come together in spring of 2020 to inform and support the investments and efforts related to the COVID-19 recovery. The federal government was making significant investments through counties, cities. Philanthropy was making significant investments in recognition that we needed to advance, recover from this jarring pandemic that we were in. A set of organizations came together, facilitated by the County of San Mateo's Executive Office, to think through how we mobilize around and invest the dollars. And the group was ultimately responsible for supporting and implementing or informing the allocation of about $400 million of recovery investments. You see the those represented institutions on the bottom here. When the group, after the investments were fully allocated, the group still felt it was important to connect and think about how do we move from stabilizing the community, which was a primary focus of the recovery, to moving into upward mobility. Ultimately, the goal would be economic freedom. And so that's when we decided to move towards shared prosperity and also bring on some additional members that could help us more pointedly think through the concepts of shared prosperity. And that gives you a little bit of background about where the group had been when we thought about how do we move from stabilization towards upward mobility. We found a framework that was already had been built out with a lot of great investment and national expertise called the Urban Institute's Upward Mobility from Poverty Framework. The framework acknowledged that it wasn't just economic success that was necessary, but power and autonomy, as well as dignity and belonging, as three key dimensions to upward mobility, and then identified a set of the 5 pillars that you see identified here: opportunity-rich neighborhoods, high-quality education, rewarding work, healthy neighborhoods, healthcare, as well as responsive and just governance. And underneath those, that there were very specific domains and indicators that could help inform both where the county was in its quest towards upward mobility, as well as help us identify what might be the places of opportunity to move economic mobility. So this is why we landed on utilizing this framework to inform the actions of the Shared Prosperity Coordinating Council.
Thank you. So as Shireen mentioned, we are going to be utilizing the Urban Institute Upward Mobility from Poverty Framework. We did provide the right link in the second version of the request for proposal we sent. It was the wrong link in the first one, so we please make sure that you're using the right mobility framework here. We are seeking for a consultant or a team of consultants that could apply an equity lens throughout the project and all the deliverables. As we mentioned, this is a 2-year term contract. We are expecting the Economic Mobility Action Plan to take between 12 and 18 months, but the ongoing support to the Shared Prosperity Coordinating Council will last 24 months. This is an informal solicitation process, which means that it is a contract that is expected to be under $200,000, which means that it will be approved by the head of the department of the County Executive Office instead of the Board of Supervisors. So getting into the scope of work, I'll go briefly over each of the deliverables. First is to conduct a project kickoff meeting. This is where all the work to familiarize with the Shared Prosperity Coordinating Council, as well as the existing documentation, to start building a foundational understanding of the work that happened with this group so far. And it will hold a kickoff meeting with the council to discuss the planned project activities and schedule an overview of the economic data and trends that the consultant review. The second deliverable is to integrate community priorities and input. This is again a review of existing county data and community input on priority challenges. The county has been engaged in significant outreach for different initiatives. So we want to make sure that the consultant reviews that And we provided examples of what these different initiatives are. And then in partnership with the council, decide if any additional community outreach effort and data collection is needed based on any gaps that we found in this review of community and data. And then we expect the consultant to disseminate the outreach materials across the geographic and demographic groups of the county. And we expect these materials to be making sure that they are linguistically accessible, and it reflects the language diversity and race and ethnicity diversity of the county. The third deliverable is the review existing data to identify challenges and conduct landscape analysis. So again, utilizing the Urban Institute Upward Mobility Framework is the idea is to compile the existing data that the county has collected through different initiatives and relate that to local challenges and identify any gaps that we might see if we need further disaggregation of the data by demographics or sectors. We hope to, in this deliverable, for the consultant to work with the council to understand the landscape of current initiatives, partners and resources that support economic stability and mobility under the pillars of the framework. And then develop visuals to depict the landscape of relevant efforts. So it's easier for the council to identify gaps in programs and then address any key challenges that is identified by the compiled data. The fourth deliverable is present findings and recommendations. This is a development of a brief executive summary report with a PowerPoint detailing the outcomes from the community priorities, data and landscape analysis, propose recommended strategies to support economic mobility, and conduct virtual presentations and, where appropriate, in-person presentations to share findings with the community and stakeholders. And we also hope to share findings via email with all community groups and stakeholders that provided input and data. And the consultant will lead this work with the council to discuss findings and propose strategies, so the council has a chance to provide that feedback. The fifth deliverable is to support implementation of focus groups. This is as needed. This will be based on the review of existing data and community feedback. And then if the council and the consultant and the chief equity officer decide that additional information is needed, that will be decided to have additional focus groups. The sixth deliverable is to develop the economic mobility action plan and its work plan. And this is, of course, based on the findings of the above deliverables, and then work with the council to inform that action plan and work plan. And this action plan is expected to consider some pilot projects that will help us to build momentum around some of these efforts. And we hope to have the consultant develop an infographic to depict these challenges and opportunities and propose actions that is easier for the public to digest. The seventh deliverable is to provide support to the council on next steps of the action plan. And this is, again, is what the implementation might look like, and then provide support in the monthly meetings, in the agenda making, as well as tracking the work planning efforts to advance key actions in that plan. And ongoing project management is the last deliverable. This is in coordination with the chief equity officer to support these monthly meetings with the council, and also report progress on projects and troubleshoot any issues that they come up. And the Shared Prosperity Coordinating Councils take place once a month, and they're 1.5-hour meetings. So with that, we move to minimum qualifications. Any applicant that does not meet these qualifications will be not moving to the review of the proposals phase. The project manager or other key project staff has at least is 3 years of experience, not 5, within the last 5 years, providing relevant services as outlined in the scope of work. And the proposer has completed it or currently under contract for at least 2 projects with municipalities in the state of California within the last 3 years, providing similar services than the one here in the scope of work. And the proposer should be registered and in good standing with the System for Award Management, which is a federal database. The required documents are, this is a brief request for proposal application. This is a 6 pages technical proposal, and by pages on one-sided, and the request for proposal has the details around the format and the size of the letters, so please refer to the request for the proposals. We have the technical proposal, which is an introduction and a statement of minimum qualifications. This is where the proposers describe themselves and give us information on the person that is authorized to answer questions related to the proposal, and it states that it meets the minimum qualifications for these requests for proposals. The project approach will go over kind of the key questions that we have, but it's a demonstration that the proposer will be able to meet the scope of work on the timeline that we have for this request of proposals. And then the firm and team qualifications, this is up to 2 pages, where the proposer shares how the firm and the team is qualified to meet the scope of work of this proposal. The fee proposal is provided here, is 1 page maximum, and the minimum qualification checklist is provided in Appendix A. So for the project approach, which is 3 pages, is basically we expect a description of the approach for the scope of work, tasks, milestones, and timeline. And this project is going to be starting soon in December, so how the firm is able to start this soon and complete the project within the timeline that we described before. We will also like to hear a description of the service model and approach to addressing the scope of work and the approach to working with such a diverse set of partners, and how this the agency and the consultant will ensure equity and cultural humility as you propose the full implementation of the scope of work. And this may include experience that demonstrates a commitment to advancing racial and social equity, and the process for integrating equity, inclusion, and belonging into the firm's feature service, staffing, and community engagement that reflects the diversity of San Mateo County. So for the firm and team qualifications, this is a 2-page maximum. So provide a brief description of the agency's history, mission, and programs, and how this program fits into the overall organization, and how the agency is uniquely positioned to provide the necessary services described in the scope of work, and written corroboration that the agency is either certified or self-identifies as a small business and is or not a local firm. And we provide the definitions in the request for proposal. This is an attempt to align our inclusive procurement goals to foster shared prosperity locally with the small and local businesses. In addition to that, please provide a chart identifying the project team and the project manager, and who is going to be playing what role in this project. The proposal should provide a brief description of the professional and lived experience of the assigned staff lead and working on similar projects with local government agencies. So we want to see the experience of the assigned staff. And also, as I mentioned before, that all the written assurance that the key individuals listed as a project team that will be performing the work and will not be substituted without the county's prior approval. So the fee proposal is very straightforward, and we are providing the same template for all applicants. And so here you have the template, and it's in the request for proposals and is by deliverable. And we are providing optional tasks below. So, but that has to be in addition to whatever it is in the scope of work. So what is at a minimum, we want the tasks from 1 to 7. So for the evaluation criterion, as I mentioned before, any proposal that does not meet the minimum qualifications will not be able to move to the evaluation phase, and it will be automatically disqualified. Once we receive those that meet the minimum qualifications, those proposals will be evaluated out of 100 points. 80 points are assigned to the technical proposal that includes the project approach and the firm and team qualifications, as you see in this slide. And the firm and team qualifications include some points for local and small businesses. And then the price proposal is based out of 20 points and is on the quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative is the template that I showed in the previous slide, and qualitative is the feasibility of the proposed budget to meet the scope of work. And I'm sorry, the slide seems to be not fully showing, but all this information is included in the request for proposals. So this is the request for proposals timeline. It's a quick timeline because it is a short application. So we released the request for proposal on Monday, and we have a deadline for all questions related to the RFP October 30th at 12 p.m. And I will release the answers to those questions within 24 hours. And then all the proposals are due November 3rd at 5 p.m. And we hope to execute this contract early December so the consultant can start the work right away. So like any other communication during a request for proposals, if you have any questions related to the RFP, please email me by October 30th. And do not email county staff directly. We cannot answer your questions outside the process established above. And once the request for proposal closes, county staff cannot answer any questions regarding the evaluation process, and proposers will not receive any updates on the process until the intent to award letter is issued. So now we can move to questions and answers, if there is any.
Hi, Belen. Hi, Shireen. Will you be sending out an updated minimum qualifications checklist? Okay, that
is that because the 5 year is not reflected, right? So I
okay.
Okay.
Yes, that was my only question. Thank you.
All right. Any other question? Hearing none. The recording will be shared along with the updated request for proposal, and any questions related to the proposals, please send them by October 30th. With that, thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate and I'm gonna stop the recording.
Thank you, Belen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.